Okay, we are live. So we are here with Dennis. I'm Stephanie Souza Bro with Berkshire Hathaway, and we are here with Dennis Fidel. And Dennis and I have known each other for years, but this month he brought to my attention, it's Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. So we are here to talk to him because he's had a spinal cord injury. I'll let him tell his story, and we're here to kind of hear about his struggles and some ways that he is helping or hoping to give back to the community members here on the Central Coast. So welcome, Dennis.
Hello.
And why don't you start out by telling your story, exactly what happened to you and when it happened?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely. So back last year, May of 2019, a little bit after my 43rd birthday, I went out on a local mountain bike ride, training for a race that was coming up on the following weekend. And just as I was finishing my ride, I decided to go ahead and max out a section of the trail and take a jump that I never pulled off. And I went over the handlebars on an impact, and I suffered a C3, C4, C5, C6 spinal contusion, which pretty much left me a quadriplegic at that point from the neck down. So that's where I'm at this point right now.
And that was May 2019,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah, so we're a little bit over a year and a half right now in my recovery.
Okay. And what, without taking you back to deep darkness, but what do you remember of that? Do you remember the accident? Do you remember them airlifting you out? What do you actually remember from
I remember everything that happened from the point that I took the feature to the impact and me laying on the ground, looking up at the sky, wondering why I can't move, wondering why I couldn't pull my phone out, why I couldn't get up and brush myself off to go home and get showered up and cleaned up. And at that point, I had a buddy that was riding with me that just met up a few seconds after, and he was telling me to get up, let's go home, shower up. And at that point, I realized I couldn't move, and I really did a doozy on myself at that point. So some acceptance had to happen right then and there.
Yeah. You realized it was bigger than just you ate it and your face is full of dirt and you're going to get up and go home. You realized there was something else going on.
Absolutely. I told myself at this point, okay, I really hurt myself. And I didn't want to say that I suffered a spinal cord injury because I wasn't really sure. All I knew is that I was on the ground, I couldn't move, and it was time to call the paramedics at that point, which had happened.
Yes. And then you got airlifted, right? You went down to Cottage Hospital. Am I correct?
I did. Fire Station 21 and 22 came in, and they assessed me at that point. And I asked them to go ahead and send me over to Marion for some treatment there. And they told me that my best bet, my better option was to go to fly out to Cottage. And that they were going to call the helicopter in. And sure enough, 20 minutes later, I was airlifted straight to Cottage Hospital.
Now, how much time did you actually spend at Cottage, with the surgery and the rehab and everything? How much time were you there?
So in total, I was there for 59 days to be exact. First 8 days was in ICU after surgery. Shortly after that, day 11, I went into rehab, and that's when my journey began. I wasn't sure exactly what was going on at that point. All I knew is that they were going to try to make me walk if I can, but I was completely unsure of my future at that point.
Okay, so Dennis, we were just talking right before we came live, and there was something new that you had mentioned to me that I didn't know. When you came out of surgery and they told you that basically from the neck down, you weren't able to move, they weren't able to tell you then that you had the possibility of walking, right?
Correct, that's right. Doctors don't tell you with this type of injury that you are going to walk and that you aren't going to walk. All they did was found out that I suffered a contusion in my spinal cord, bruising in there. So I basically pancaked my spinal cord at that point. And so right after surgery, I came out into the hallways where all my family and friends were waiting. And I initially lifted my arms up in joy. And that was such a blessing for everyone else to see, which I really didn't know what was going on because I was under all the anesthetic. And I was really just coming out of surgery at that point. So that was pretty exciting for everyone to see.
I was going to say, so that gave them hope that there's something more to come.
Absolutely, yeah.
And how many days were you in therapy and rehab? You went through pretty extensive rehab down there.
Yes, actually. So surgery happened at Cottage Hospital. And shortly after that, I was transferred there at day 11 to Cottage Rehab, where I actually got my first shower at that point. And that's where everything started. So really, I had a little bit over about 6 weeks of rehab in Santa Barbara, where I could not go anywhere, and I was basically doing 6 days a week, 4 hours, 4 hours each session or more of rehab. They typically only give you 5 days, but I asked for another day of rehab only because I saw that something was changing in me.
Good. Now, when you got released from cottage, were you walking at that point in time?
I was walking, very weak, with some forearm crutches at that point. And my walk was kind of an episode out of The Walking Dead, if you want to call it, which was not very nice at all. And I was still very weak at that point there, but all I wanted to do after rehab was to walk out, and I didn't want to be wheeled out, which I was actually happy to do. So I walked out of rehab, walked into my home, sat on the couch, and felt some relief to be home.
Yeah.
But little did I know that's where my rehab really started.
I was going to say, what happened next? So you obviously have the gym community behind you. They love you. They've done fundraisers. They see you in the gym. You're super inspirational. Everybody's, rooting for you. You've been to the gym now. You were going to custom workouts. How'd you get hooked up with Mark, and how long have you been there? And what has been your progression from when you walked in to today?
Wow. Well, when I first got discharged home, I was kind of in la la land. I didn't know what was going on. And I reached out to social media, which is such a powerful platform nowadays. And I asked for someone to, to recommend a gym where they can actually help me out. And I had a buddy, his name is 𝒅𝒐𝒏'𝒕. And he told me that he went to custom workouts and he knew the gym owner, and he was going to hook me up with him. And sure enough, he sent that over. I went in as of September. Keep in mind, I was discharged in July, and I didn't meet with Mark until September. And at that point, who would have known that there was a direct relation between me and his mother suffering a spinal cord injury? And at that point, Mark decided that he wanted to go ahead and take upon this challenge with me and said, let's do the work, let's get it done, let's get started.
Yeah, and you've had amazing, everybody in the gym's been able to watch you, people that are watching now. I've been able to see the transformation. Like you said, you were walking unstable when you first came in. Now, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but I saw you jumping on a box.
Yep, absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
To see at the gym is amazing what you're able to do right now.
Right. And with this injury here, it's so easy for the body to want to sit down and not do anything, because that's basically what it wants to do. You are so weak that you have no energy to do anything. But I knew I needed this therapy because I saw that happening at cottage. Within those 59 days, I was able to actually lift my foot, take a step. Every day was another step. And I knew that when I got discharged that I had some momentum behind me and that I couldn't stop it. And so that's why the gym was so important, that I continued my therapy through there. And keep in mind, I didn't have any therapy going on as of yet. Mark was the first thing that ever happened to me before I actually started some type of physical therapy with an office here in Santa Maria.
Yeah.
And I have seen the progression from last September to now. Now I can actually, get around the gym without using my crutches and fulfill some of the workouts and whatnot out there. So don't be lazy. Get out there and get it done. It really works.
Yeah, if you could do it, pretty much everybody else needs to take the excuses away. Now, I told you I was going to ask some hard questions.
Absolutely.
I want to know 2 things. What's the worst thing or the hardest thing that's been about this accident? And what's the best thing that's come out of it?
Wow. The worst thing out of this accident is it's life-changing. Everything changed for me 180 in a blink of an eye. We've had to adapt our household to my needs. We've had to move some tables around. We've had to get some adaptive equipment for my vehicles and whatnot. And the constant watch over me is something that we've had to dysfunctions in my body and whatnot. So I've got to be aware of what's going on around me internally, how I'm feeling, and whatnot. So that's probably one of the hardest things that actually has had to happen to us here in my household. One of the best things, or some of the best things that ever happened to me, is I've built some confidence and a family at the gym, and that's really kept my motivation up. And what the gym has done for me and what the community has done for me has given me the strength. I know that they reach out to me and tell me that I inspire them, but with them watching what I'm doing for them has inspired me and kept my motivation going. So one of the best things, the community and the love that I'm getting from everybody else. Absolutely.
Okay. Now your screen has freezed up a little bit, but we're going to continue on. So hopefully that unfreezes because we could still hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, good. Now, with everything that's going on in the world, people we know with the COVID, they're stuck in the house. There's a lot of statistics are showing there's a lot of depression and suicide rates are up and all that sort of stuff. That's the negatives of what's going on today. You've expressed and shared with us from the beginning that through this transformation, you've had many, many peaks and valleys. And when you hit the valleys, they're deep.
Yes.
What do you do to help yourself stay positive and pull yourself out of those valleys?
Wow. I've had some time to think about that. And I think a lot of it has to do with when the community came together for me and decided that they wanted to participate in the fundraiser that they had for me. I didn't realize how many people cared and what kind of community we had here in our area. And with that alone, that has inspired me and kept me motivated to keep on going. And it's a mental thing on a personal level that you have to pull yourself out of. So I kind of refer back to that, to when the community came together for me, knowing that they weren't going to give up on me and they were going to support me. And along with my family as well too, knowing that they were going to be there and stand by me regardless, through thick and thin, of my condition. You know, it was enough for me. So I just keep going back to how my family supports me, how my friends support me, and how the community has supported me. So that's big, and that's how I pull myself out.
Yeah. And the community, I mean, I've been there at the fundraisers. The community completely embraces you. And like I said, you have a whole nother family now at the gym and everybody's behind you and loves to see your progress.
Mm-hmm.
I know one of the things you had said, and one of the reasons we're on here today, is you said that you feel like you've had so much support in the community that you want to find a way to give back. And you've been digging deep inside to see how you could give back to the community. What are some of the things that you're wanting to do?
Wow, I do want to give back to the community. Absolutely. I would love to be out there to advocate for this injury. I'd love to be a mentor to anyone that's going through some type of adversity and show them that with some belief and some perseverance that you can actually make it through. So I'd love to get out there and speak. If I can be that person to help somebody out and maybe form a wave that will trickle down to someone else and continue, I want to be that person. So if I can give back in that way, please let me know.
Now, you've had like church groups and stuff that have reached out to you to speak to their group already, correct?
I actually haven't had the opportunity to speak to them yet, and I'm in the process of that right now. I've actually reached out to First Christian Church, and I've been attending some of their men's groups and whatnot. And it's just a matter of time before I can actually share my testimony and hopefully help somebody out there that may need some type of mentoring, or to hear my story, or to see my story, and pull out of the dark.
Absolutely. I mean, you've been there. You could speak from experience and being able to help, especially everything that's going on in the world today. I think there's a need for it. People need to embrace each other and support each other and let them know that they're not in it by themselves. If somebody's watching this that wants to get in touch with you and have you speak to their group or family members or what have you, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
You know, I've been a pretty private person myself, but since my injury now, all I want to do is try to help somebody pull out of some type of adversity. So, I mean, I'm open to have my cell phone out there. You can definitely give me a call, 805-720-3158. You can also find me on social media as well too, you know, just under Dennis Fidel. So I'm both on Facebook and Instagram. And if I can be that person, contact me, please.
I can't wait to see you at some of your speaking. I know you're going to change a lot of people and you're going to help some people. out there and you're going to give back. You are an inspiration. I've said that several times. I always like to end with one thing. I told you this. What would be your message of hope to our community?
Oh, man, good things come to those who believe. Better things come to those that are patient. And the best things come to people that don't give up. So don't give up on yourself. Whatever it is that you're going through, I know that we're going through tough times right now, but we as a community have shown that we are resilient and we can make it through.
That's true. You've showed us that, and everybody's supporting you. And we want to see you. I know you're walking good now and you're working out good, but soon we want to see you like running. And I'm sure we're going to see that.
Yeah, the journey doesn't end for sure. So there's so much more ahead of me, definitely. And I'll continue to keep on trying to achieve the next goal and on and on. So
that's awesome. Dennis, thank you for taking the time and making us aware of what and sharing your story. I know it's personal, getting out there and making us aware of people that have struggles, and especially being Spinal Cord Injury Awareness Month. It was great to have you on and telling your story.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Goodbye.